This personal horror story happened to my first cousin, John. Let's hear the nerve-wracking incident from his own voice. I've driven trucks for 20 years, but the I-80 stretch in Nebraska always makes my skin crawl. Empty fields, no phone signal, just my rig's rumble and the dark pressing in. Last night, after midnight, with a thin moon like a sick eye, I saw her. She stood by the road, thumb out, her torn dress flapping in a wind I couldn't feel. My headlights hit her, face white as death, eyes like black holes, leaking something dark. My gut yelled to keep going, but my hands shaking pulled the rig over. She slid in, quiet, her bony fingers twitching. "Where you going?" I mumbled, voice weak. "Forward," she whispered, voice like dry leaves. She didn't look at me, just stared ahead. The cab got freezing, my breath fogging even with the heater on full. My skin prickled as mile markers passed, each one heavier, like a warning. I glanced at her. Her head jerked, showing a grin with sharp, dirty teeth. "Don't ask my name," she growled, and the cab's lights went out. My heart pounded hard. The radio, off for hours, screamed static, then a voice twisted. "Crash. Mile. 237. She takes them." I hit the off button, but the static stayed, scratching inside my head. Mile marker 237 glowed ahead, its numbers moving like worms. "You heard," she said, her voice crawling in my mind, tearing at me. My hands shook, the wheel wet with sweat. "Stop," she said. I didn't want to, but my foot lifted, my hands turned, the rig stopped. "Out," she hissed. My legs moved on their own, pulling me into the night. No sound, no wind, nothing, just a heavy, dead quiet. She was right there, though I didn't see her move. Her dress was wet with black, stinking of blood and rot. "You stopped," she snarled, her face falling apart, skin peeling, showing bone, her eyes dripping black. The ground moved, gravel whispering. Behind her, the air broke. A smashed car appeared, metal bent, steaming. A woman's scream stuck in the air, saying my name. Her claws grabbed my wrist, burning, rotting my skin. "You're mine," she said, her voice a mess of whispers, shaking my bones. My legs wouldn't move. The road vanished, swallowed by darkness. Her mouth opened wide, a black hole eating the light, her breath like dead things. "We keep them all." I woke in my cab, engine off, dawn barely there. My wrist hurt, marked with red, oozing claw burns. I drove, shaking, swearing I'd never stop again. At a diner, truckers talked low. "Mile 237. Woman died there in '98, car crash. She pulls drivers into the dark. They don't come back right." I stay off I-80 now. But at night, the cab gets cold. The radio screams, voices begging, laughing. In the mirror, her face waits, rotting, smiling. Her claws touch my neck, whispering, "Stop." I feel her in the cab, waiting, knowing I'll pull over again. This scary story happened to my ex-girlfriend. Let's hear the horror event from her own voice. I'm Jess, 23, hauling a load through rural Nevada on a rain-drenched night in July 2025. The wipers on my beat-up Kenworth screeched against the downpour, barely keeping up. It was nearing 2 a.m., the highway a lonely ribbon of black, my headlights struggling against the storm. The CB radio hissed static, no other drivers out here, just me and a tight delivery schedule. Through the blur, I saw him, a man in a tattered jacket, standing on the shoulder, thumb out, soaked through. His face was pale, eyes hollow under a dripping hat. Hitchhikers weren't common this far out, and my gut screamed to keep driving. But he looked desperate, and I was too soft. I pulled over, the rig lurching in the mud. I cracked the passenger door, rain pelting inside, and shouted, "Get in." He climbed up, silent, dripping water that smelled faintly of rot. "Thanks," he rasped, voice like gravel. His name was Tom, he said, headed nowhere special. His clothes were old, like from decades ago, and his hands trembled, fingers too long, too thin. I chalked it up to the cold, but unease gnawed at me. The cab felt smaller, the air thick. I drove on, trying to make small talk, but Tom just stared ahead, eyes glinting in the dashboard's glow. The CB sputtered, spitting a low, garbled moan, not words, just sound. I switched it off, but the moan lingered, vibrating in my chest. The engine coughed, dashboard lights flickering. Tom's head turned, slow, unnatural, his smile sharp. "You shouldn't stop," he whispered. My heart pounded. I gripped the wheel, glancing at him. His face was wrong now. No eyes, just dark pits, his mouth stretching too wide. The cab grew freezing, my breath fogging. A scratching started in the trailer, like nails on metal, rhythmic, deliberate. I grabbed my flashlight, hands shaking, and shone it at him. The beam passed through him, his form flickering like static, then solidifying again. "Stop the truck," he said, voice echoing inside my skull. The locks clicked open on their own. I slammed the brakes, the rig skidding. "Get out!" I screamed, but he just laughed, a sound like breaking glass. Trailer's scratching grew frantic, and the air smelled of decay. I swung my tire iron at him. It passed through, hitting the seat. He vanished, but the cold stayed, his laugh lingering. I bolted from the cab, rain soaking me, and ran into the dark. The scratching followed, paired with footsteps, heavy and wet, circling me. I tripped, mud swallowing my knees, and his voice whispered, "You're mine now." I screamed, scrambling back to the highway, but the footsteps never stopped. Dawn broke, and a patrol found my rig, engine dead, cab empty. My tracks led into the desert, then vanished. The trailer's walls had scratches spelling "Tom" in jagged lines. Locals talk of a ghost, a trucker killed in a 70s wreck, luring drivers who stop on rainy nights. My rig's in a scrapyard, its CB spitting moans some nights, Tom's voice asking for a ride. If you're on that Nevada highway in a storm, don't stop for a man in a tattered jacket. He's not looking to leave. This scary story happened to my best friend, David. Let's hear the occurrence from his point of view. I gripped the steering wheel tight as my big truck fought against the wind and snow. The weatherman said it would only snow a little, but now it was a full blizzard. My headlights barely lit the road ahead. The only way I knew I was still on the highway was the bumpy sound under my tires. I was new at this, only driving trucks for 6 months. This was my first winter trip through the mountains. My boss told me it would be an easy drive. Yeah, right. Then I saw her. A woman in a torn dress stood in the middle of the road, arms stretched out like she wanted a hug. I stomped on the brakes hard. My truck slid on the ice, but I stopped just in time. She didn't move. Snow covered her long black hair. Her lips were blue, and she was saying something, but no sound came out. My whole body went cold. No one could be out here dressed like that and still be alive. I grabbed my flashlight and rolled down the window. "Hey, you need help?" The wind was too loud. She took a step toward me. That's when I saw her feet, bare but leaving no footprints in the snow. And her eyes, black and empty, like 2 holes in her face. I slammed the gas pedal. The truck jumped forward, but when I checked the mirror, she was still there. Closer now. Then the radio made a noise. A voice, low and rough, said, "You shouldn't have stopped." I froze. I hadn't even touched the radio. My truck's engine coughed. The lights on the dashboard flickered. Outside, more figures stepped out of the snow, moving weird like broken dolls. I grabbed my phone. No service. The cab got colder. Frost spread across the windows, then tap, tap, tap on the passenger side window. I didn't want to look, but I did. Her face was pressed against the glass. The engine died. The last thing I heard before the windows exploded was the radio, screaming with voices. "We've been waiting for you.